start? So, yes, people, as I introduced and as I let you know, so I wasn't prepared to do the intro here. I invited my dear friend Stacie, and we had some difficulties technically, but we did it. Yes, and as I announced in the group earlier this day, we had this amazing conversation last week, I think, yeah. And yeah, there was so much gold in it that we just decided to share it with you. And yeah, so maybe Stacie, do you wanna introduce you a little bit? Yeah.
Sure. So, hi, my name is Stacy, and I've been teaching piano for more than 20 years. And in my own study journey, I have lots of up and down. And through all the ups and down, I came across how important we need to use our body movements in our learning, not just ballet, in music, in piano as well, in singing, in my conducting. Those body movements just play such an important part. And the more I dive in, I realize how important they are. And so somehow this body movement is what I feel it's the missing puzzle in the art. So when I had a conversation with Ramona, I just said, yes, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. So I put together some questions, and then we want to share our own journey in our own learning. And then we can talk about why those movements are so important, part of our emotion, our learning, and our self-expression. And that connects to deep to our heart, our soul. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we found so many similarities, right? Yeah, in our approach. Even if we give it different names, but in the end, it's very similar.
Yes.
And I really love that some people in my group know that I'm a late starter, not only in ballet, I also started late with the violin. And I think it was because I had this ballet, not background, because I simultaneously learned it, but I was so influenced, my violin learning was so influenced by the movements and my curiosity for movement. So I'm so in love how you approach it, because I found out that it's so fundamental and so important to include the whole body into making music. And it was not I didn't the teachers that back then, they didn't learn it to me that way. So it was more focused in the violin. I mean, a little bit similar in playing the piano, on the fingers and on the wrists, maybe, and maybe a little bit of arm movements. But the moment you move your arms, you need to have an awareness of the whole body. So that was super interesting for me.
Actually, it's a little more than that. I never realized until much later on. I, of course, playing. So audience, everyone, playing piano definitely is not just fingers. I have to keep saying that again and again. People would think, oh, playing piano just move fingers. How come I don't do well? Because that involves through our wrist, our arm, our shoulders. And guess what, Ramona, you might know it better. That involve our shoulder blades. And to activate that, the source is from our core. So that's already involve our entire upper body. And then when we are able to play out a melody, we need to feel that we need to read the music and then listen to it, how we coordinate that. And then when we're doing the pedal, then the whole body is all involved.
Yeah,
in fact, yes, that's my husband is a scientist. He just shared with me an article. Do you know when you sing a song, the melody is one part of the brain, the text is the other part of the brain. They don't work together.
Yeah.
So when we want to be able to memorize the text, to be able to sing, we need to activate all different parts of our brain to work together. So I look at that. Now I know why I have a hard time to memorize text. I never had a hard time to memorize melody.
Yeah, but same time, this is what I try to make people understand when they start with ballet. They think that they just need to follow movements or exercises, but it's so much more, because you have the music, and if you are if you want to be in tune and you feel it, if you're in tune or not, then you also need to bring this together, and your own body, the feeling and the expression. So there's so much going on, and I mean, this is definitely a reason why it's so healthy and so challenging, and so it let us grow so much.
Oh, exactly. So Ramona, I want to ask you one question. This is something I deal in that all the time. It's the tension. So a lot of time, even myself in my own learning journey, I even got into almost a decade long of a phobia. I couldn't move my finger at one point, but only specific passage. So it's more like a mental, physical, just whenever I see that sign, I just feel like my body just frozen. I couldn't do anything.
Wow.
And I'm just like, what's going on with that? And at that time, I didn't have enough knowledge to know I have too much tension. And even by this time in my own learning, I know sometimes we don't want to tense our body, but our body automatically doing that for us. And I was kind of looking back and I think about a little baby. When they were sleeping, they are clenching their fist, the little baby. So see, that's the tension we already built up. It's part of us. Those tension are building in us. And when we are stressed out, guess what? We want to work harder. The tension just building more in us. But in ballet and in piano playing, it's actually going the other way to help us now. Body, you are doing well. We don't have to work that hard. I always tell my students, now we are doing this. How about tell your shoulder, we tell them just relax. We don't need to work that hard. Yeah. So I'm wondering how you help with your adult learner.
Such a big topic, and I'm super happy to bring it up. And I mean, I'm also wondering and asking myself, why are we doing this? Why it's such a natural instinct in a way. I mean, it's a life. I mean, I have a lot whole more to say about that. Could be we could do very philosophical conversation here.
It can take hours.
Why our first response to life is stress and fear, or yes, I mean, so my approach is to do ballet in a playful way. So what I observe is that if I crack this open, if I bring people more into a playfulness, then they in a way forgot that they were stressed. And then you can see that the body, the tension is dissolving. So this is, for example, a thing I love to do. But I also actively, that's a pillar of my work, really make them sensible to observe and do body scans, especially in the beginning, if they're not used to this, to see where do I tend to clench, and where do I where do I tend to build up tension in my body. So that's very different for everybody. There are persons that are starting to clench here, or I also heard, again, back to violin players, from a violin player, and she had bloody toes after a concert because she was, I don't know what she did in her shoes. So
oh my God.
Her center of tension was definitely in the feet there.
Oh my, yeah.
And
a lot of time we don't even aware of that. We thought we are doing well, and then we don't know. Oh, it's so much tension. And same thing with my conducting and my singing too. And then when we are able to me, when I am able to release some muscles, or I never access that, and all of a sudden I realize, oh wow, that's the muscle. I mean, there are some fear. Sometimes I feel like, am I going to use that muscle? And like my singing, I need to open down my cavity in the back. And that took me a while to feel, oh, my back is open. I'm using those muscles instead of, just relax. I know it is so much involved, and to me that needs courage to access that. And sometimes we activate some muscles, just like you say, we forget about that, and then we feel that emotion. We feel so much
Yeah.
easier to express ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about it a little bit before about the what changes if you become this tension detector. Yeah. So that I mean, the idea of music is flow, to experience flow and to move with the flow and with the music. And same for ballet or for me. Yes, dancing is being in the flow. And I think that's another reason why it's so important to go and look for the tension, because every part that is too much, it's restricted and it cannot flow, and it's not fluid and not acting or reacting as a whole.
Yeah, acting
We
react.
need it, we need it.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if it looks like we're just doing that.
Exactly. Yes. So I'm curious, since I'm a pianist, I remember you talk about the weak arms in your post. So how how do you help those people to first of to be aware the arms
Yep.
are weak?
Yep.
Because to me, with my student, the arms, they are so tense. They have no idea they are.
Yep. Yep. It's funny that you point out that post, and I only now realize that it's interesting for you because of the arms of the
the
I
whole
mean,
thing.
what are weak arms? I'm always talking about these kind of weak arms, because they're not weak. So what I do with my students is, and I think it was the first word you came up, is I talk with them about awareness. There are body parts we are more aware, and there are body parts we are less aware. And this,
exactly.
it's like an energy. For me, it's an energy. The more awareness, the more energy, and the more aliveness is in that part of the body. And this is something you can so easily train and change. If you can touch your arm, in my case, also in your case, and this brings more awareness. If I'm mindful and I feel and I found out you can just do that, and you can witness it in the mirror, and you can see a change. And then the more aspects and nuances you know about your hands and wrists and arms, the more you are able to use. So if you think they are just sticks, then you use it like sticks or whatever. Chopsticks.
True. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And this is such an easy thing to do. For me, it's even the radiance of a body part. What I do actively is I really nurture my body parts with love and with care. So I really go and I send love and attention to them, because they immediately change. It's so easy. It's so easy.
That's so important. Most of the time, we don't love ourselves enough.
Yes.
It is. And I remember there's one time I told my student, you know what? Your fingers are just working too hard. Tell them that's okay.
Yes.
You love them, and then they don't need to work that hard. And then one time I told them, the 10 fingers are, your brain is like a conductor, and the whole body is your orchestra. Your eyes, your ears, 10 fingers, they all work differently. We cannot expect 10. So if you have 10 violinists in your orchestra, you are the conductor to help them to work together as a team. Instead of, I want to control this, I want to control this. So your point of love to help them to work as a team, it's so important. And to me, it's very holistic.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure in the way you grew up. I was raised up in even here in United States, in our education system, most of the time it's, okay, I'm a teacher. I tell you, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and you gotta do this homework. We were taught to do.
To do, yeah.
Instead of to feel, to understand.
Mm.
And most of learning, we kind of disconnected to our body and soul. So our body keep getting better, but where am I? Who am I? I don't know. And I found, Ramona, your work, it's just like, now let's go back. Let's find ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, same for you. And I mean, I love this so much. I mean, this is so important to yeah, to understand and to yeah, to have in mind. And I think it's really a pity that the performing arts, which in my case should be a place where you can be loving and caring and tender and you know and vulnerable. I mean, that it's art. We're doing art here, but it's I experienced it very hard in a way, yeah, so very harsh. So really on yeah, so much competition and so much, and that's yeah, it's not not even not necessary. I think it's we miss a very important part then.
So does music too. Yeah, that's why
Yes,
people would talk about performing art, it's dying. But to me, I remember I look at one of my students' mother. She was talking about, I don't know, there going to be less and less people play piano. And I was just like, actually I'm looking at a different way. Now might be an opportunity for us to bring out more awareness and how important we need to connect to inside of us.
yep.
I mean, all the gadgets, all the technology, everything. To me, it's surface. It's outside of us. And what's inside of us, that inner self,
Yep.
it's longing for us to discover that little voice. Yeah.
Yes, I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm sure when you work with your students, you don't just teach them one dance and I'm done. I always tell my student, I don't just teach you a song and you're able to play. No, I want you to go deeper than that.
Yep.
Can we find a communication through you and yourself? Can we bring out a communication of your feeling to your audience? And how we understand composer? There are so many things, and that makes learning, to me, that makes learning much more meaningful.
Yes.
And much happier. Learning is supposed to be happiness. Is the no, I gotta do my homework. No, checklist done, 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 done. I have a successful day. I got all my to-do list done.
Yes, no, it shouldn't be that way. And I mean, this is what I so love in my work. Yeah. And I mean, it's the same for you because you work with adult beginners, players, returner. There is a law. So it's not, they don't do it because they need to. So it's really a decision to do it. And
that
to
desire,
really,
yes.
yeah. And this is, I mean, I gave this conversation a title. So I don't know exactly how, but it's about that. I think it's so important, and it's a chance for the performing arts if more and more adults and late starters and restarters come back and connect to music, yeah, and make this the priority. That first to do it, and the second thing is how to do it. To do it in a loving way and really make sure that you feel the connection and to nurture that. So I would love to see this more. And I always tell my people that they really should not underestimate that. We talked about it, this role model position. So really to bring it forward, the arts, the performing arts in a very new way. So it's not this, you know, there are all these performers, this high class, world class performers on stage and nothing after that. So I would love to have it, bring it a little bit more back to everyone.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I feel the same way too. In fact, I used to, most of the time I work with K through 12. Most of my students are high school students, middle school students. But my church ministry, I worked from 2.5 all the way to 92. So I do have a really far. I do notice being adults, we need more of those arts.
Yeah.
Because we work, we spend so much time work, we spend so much time with family, we spend so much time for other things. But think about it, for 24 hours a day, how much time you give to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't mean watch TV. I don't mean play video game. How much time you really for yourself? I mean, even myself, I look at a number. Ooh, I only practice piano this a little bit. That's the little time for myself. But then I realized that's the time we all needed.
Yeah. And what I also observe and witness is that people actually have this deep, deep longing to
Exactly.
feel, yeah, to express and to feel, yeah, whatever it is. And I mean, in our busy days, we don't have so much time, or it's easy to forget about the feelings and the depth of the feelings. So for me, this is also a sacred space, making music, connecting to my body, whatever it is. And I remember that I did this excessively, connecting with my body. And it was so healing. And I mean, this is the other dimension it has. So it's healing on a very fundamental level.
You just brought me back to another point. Now I realize that love you mentioned earlier, it's such an important aspect in our life. And the feeling, I want all of you listen, rethink about it. When's the last time you feel your feeling? We don't actually really feel. Am I really feel happy? Or am I really feel I'm very angry? We don't feel, we react. When I'm really angry, guess what? I'll talk maybe harshly to my family. We react, but we are not really feel that feeling. And when we don't feel that, the feeling is like a little wave. If we can feel that and let the wave go away, our life will be so much happier.
Yeah.
And that's part of the love. The more love we have and we feel a feeling, we bring more happiness to our family, our community, and everyone. Yeah, in our work too.
Yes, we do. We absolutely do.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another thing that came just up for me.
I love talking to you. When you tell, I just, oh yeah, I thought about that. And we have so many similarities, even though we have a different specialties, but that similarities to help people to connect. And that's how I put my piano together. I realize now piano is much more than just doing the songs, to do the finger exercise, how to release those tension through the work, how to find our inner voice. And I love the way your playfulness and your imagination. That's so important. Yeah.
Yeah, and so now I know what came up. The journey to be a beginner, I think that's also a very important point. And because I see that it's also different if you come back later or you start to learn something and then later in life and you do it for yourself. Then you cannot hide behind a teacher or because you really want to do it.
Exactly.
Because I mean I'm a late starter in ballet and in playing the violin, so a lot of mindfuck came up for me. So I really had to mirror what's going on inside of me. So all the judgments and the critics and the being harsh to myself. And this was such a good lesson, because you want to do it. It's easy if you are in a job you don't feel satisfied or unhappy, and then you can always blame the other people. But if you decide to really learn the piano or learn ballet, and then you are confronted with that was so humiliating for me and gave me so much compassion also. Because it really softened my heart. So it's really, there is such an awesome lesson to find in learning throughout the life.
I don't know. I cry all the time whenever I have that kind of situation. I just like, I can't do it really. And I feel like I'm always so hard on myself. And it's just like, oh, okay, be nice. Okay, try again, try again. I can do it. Yeah.
And I mean, we are all shaped by our experiences, our learning experiences,
Exactly.
and they are not so. So yeah, they're not so nice. Yeah, most of them are. So,
Now we getting to understand that needs to be more holistic, just like you said, to bring that not just from exterior,
yeah,
interior inside of us. We have to work that as a team to bring that awareness, to awaken that little body inside of us. Yeah.
yes.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
happy.
Stacie, I've checked your Insta account. You have awesome tips there. You give awesome tips to your students. Tell me more. Where can we find you on Instagram?
Oh, you can find
it?
me
Because you're so
on
active there. I
Instagram.
was really wow.
Thank you. The handle piano with Stacie, Stacie. My spelling is a little bit different. Yeah, and I used to share the most piano techniques, or I kind of talking about piano, not just fingers, the wrist, the elbow, arms. I try to bring that awareness. But then I realized even we are able to release our wrist, elbow, and shoulders. If we don't have a soul, we don't have that connect to us, that's just something missing. And being a musician, being an adult, I mean, I'm sure Ramona and I, we are not training students to be just ballerina on the stage or the competition winners. We are definitely, that's not our goal. We want to help.
That touches me.
Me too. And years ago, I feel like, I think I grew up that way. My teacher, when I first time asked my teacher to go on competition, she was very reluctant. And she said, do you really want to go? I said, but all my friends, they all go. Why I would feel great if I can win the competitions and want to go. But and then years later, when I've been a teacher, now I start getting realized what's behind that. It would be great to help them feel they accomplished something. But I think the most valuable lesson to them is the process, how they work it there, how they solve all the problems, each step, and then how to bring themselves another stage, another level up, another level up. That process that bring their resilience, and that's how I start gaining that clarity during COVID. Since we all stay home and realize that's what I'm looking for. That's how I feel. Yeah. So it's so important. We need to bring up to that level instead of just doing something on the surface. So I began on my Instagram to share. This month I'm sharing I call it freedom journey.
I've seen it.
Get to feel free to express myself. When I'm sitting on my piano, I feel like my mission is to give my love to my audience. Whoever I play the church service, I play for students, everything I play, I need to play with love. And that love actually can be radiant to whoever are listening, to make them feel. And that kind of feeling, it's invisible, but it's so powerful. And the more I dive into that part, just feel, I feel there. I feel that. So I devote this month, I call it my freedom journey. I kind of sharing what's going on with me. Yes, I failed a test. It's okay, I share that. Or I share, okay, this is my win moment when I was a little kid. And I feel like we are human beings. And I share my experience, I share my struggle. That's I came to this point. And I'm happy to work with whoever wants to find that connection. I think both Ramona and we want to help our audience to find a connection.
Yeah. We definitely want to. Yeah. And I love that you bring it up that it's I always say it's not about the steps, as you said in the beginning. It's not about learning one piece of music. It's so much more. And
yes.
Yeah, and this starts. I mean, it's just, or not just. It's again a shift of the awareness. So I also love to just make people aware what changes for them in their life if they become more aware and if they fell more in love with their bodies, because they are not only become better dancers, so but it's really, we need to help each other to see it and to be aware in everyday life and not being too focused. And this is what I'm careful on, being on stage, preparing the performance, doing this competition or whatever it is. That's beautiful too, yes, if you can accomplish something like that. But it's so much to say.
So for your audience, if anyone wants to play piano as well, let me know. I put together my program Piano Roadmap. So it's not a quick fix, but help you to know this holistic and the whole body experience. I give the fundamentals. So that's a technique. Not just I learned a song, after 5 years I forget. It's a technique awareness. You know your body, and that's a technique will stick with you. So whenever you come back to the piano, whenever you come back to those body movements, you will know, oh, this is what I'm doing.
Same for me.
I know, and that's why I just feel like we just
fundamentally. Yeah, really. So if people in my group, if you resonate with my approach, you will just love Stacey's approach. I'm so sure. It's just, and I discovered that there are people out there and they really long for this kind of approach. They don't want to have more corrections on the surface, so they really want to have reach the deeper layers and understand them. And I always talk about learning in a sustainable way. So as you said, you don't learn this and then it goes away or you forget. It's something if you are aware, you can practice it every day in daily life,
and that's something
express flow and
that's something you will own it. So just let our audience know. Actually, one of my clients, she just did a post. She said, after so many years, I feel I play music, and she felt a connection, and that's such a she called it life-changing experience. Because once you start finding your inner self, it's such a happiness.
Such a peace and an empowerment. So it's just a different quality. I will definitely put your website or whatever you want me to put.
My website is pianowithstacie.com too.
Yes, but maybe I also mentioned already your Insta account so that people can also find you there.
And on my Facebook, it's all the same thing.
It's all the same.
Piano with Stacie, Stacie, so it's easy to find me.
Very easy. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. So to our audience, life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. And with those beautiful experiences.
I think we will do this again.
I know we will.
We will, yes. Next time really on Insta.
Yeah, we can try that.
On Insta Live next time, I would say, or two,
We'll find another time. We'll talk.
Yeah.
One of my audience said, you don't join the live. I just joined you. I'll let her know.
Thank you so much, Stacie.
You're welcome. Thank you. And then we will
see each other soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.